For whatever reason, it appears Mother Nature may not want this in-state rivalry to be played this season. Because of the impending impact of Hurricane Irma, the Miami-Florida State game scheduled for September 16 in Tallahassee was postponed and moved to October 7. Now, unbelievably, that game could be in jeopardy again as a tropical depression has formed in the southwestern Caribbean Sea. Thursday morning, that storm was upgraded to Tropical Storm Nate, with the possibility of it turning into Hurricane Nate at some point during the weekend. While the initial projection had the path heading almost directly over Tallahassee, the storm has since shifted west. All involved continue to keep an eye on the weather event and whether it will affect the game scheduled for a 3:30 ET kickoff Saturday afternoon. "We are monitoring the tropical storm and will continue to do so throughout the week," FSU said in a statement, with Athletic Director Blake James adding, "We are monitoring the situation and in communication with FSU and the Atlantic Coast Conference office." Remember in Apollo 13, when they are trying to land the ship, and the guy comes and says, "There is a hurricane in the landing spot," and the other guy says, "Should we even tell them about it? Can they do anything about it?" No. That's kind of the point where we are at right now, defensive coordinator Manny Diaz said in quotes distributed by the team. "It doesn't affect anything in our preparation. We will go play if they let us play." Because of Hurricane Irma, both the Canes and Seminoles have played just 3 games through the first 5 weeks of the season. The U is currently 30 and ranked 12th in the country, while FSU, which opened 2017 ranked 3rd in both major polls, comes into the rivalry matchup unranked as they lost their first 2 games before getting into the correct side of the one-loss ledger with a Week 5 win over Wake Forest. It was a rough film session for North Carolina State last season after the team played Louisville, as Dave Doran's coaching staff had to watch the eventual Heisman Trophy winner race up and down the field on the Wolfpack's defense in a blowout to capture a key ACC win. Turnabout is fair play it seems, because State did much of the same on Thursday night, pulling away at home starting in the second quarter and eventually winding up with a 3,925 victory that makes things even more interesting in the Atlantic Division. The Wolfpack offense stalled out early during the first quarter, including a red zone fumble in front of an amped-up crowd at Carter-Finley Stadium, but promptly figured things out and sliced and diced the Cardinals' defense on their following 6 drives to take control of the game. Quarterback Ryan Finley outplayed the Heisman winner on the opposite sideline with a steady performance, throwing for 367 yards and a touchdown, while big play machines Nyheim Hines 225 all-purpose yards with 2 scores and Jalen Samuels 104 through the air both were terrific in the open field. Wideout Kelvin Harmon chipped in with 133 yards and a touchdown catch as well. As well as the offense played, however, the home team never could quite put the game away until late in the fourth quarter. Of course, a lot of that had to do with the dazzling play of Lamar Jackson. The signal caller recorded a 354-yard one-touchdown night using his arm and not surprisingly led the team in rushing with 73 yards and 2 scores. He was very much a one-man band for his team given the defensive woes and played heroically in the face of a lot of pressure from the Wolfpack's stellar defensive line that helped record 4 sacks and played a role in forcing a pass that was tipped, intercepted and run back for a touchdown that iced the game. The victory, one of the biggest of Doran's career in Raleigh given the circumstances, presents an intriguing road to the division title as the Wolfpack remain undefeated in ACC play. While number 2 Clemson remains a favorite to return to the national title game at the moment, NC State did nearly pull off the upset of the Tigers last year and host this year's meeting on November 4. That game could not only decide the Atlantic Division in the conference but could play a significant role in the college football playoff selection process as well. But those are thoughts for another day and another week, as Thursday night belonged to the Wolfpack as they savored a very sweet victory over the Cardinals. Oh, what a difference a year makes for NC State and Louisville. After a lopsided result that was not in their favor last season, the 24th-ranked Wolfpack are giving number 17 Louisville everything they can handle on both sides of the ball to lead 17-10 at halftime of an intriguing ACC battle down in Raleigh. Neither team could get much going offensively in the first quarter, with Heisman winner Lamar Jackson being well contained by that tough NCSU defensive line led by Bradley Chubb. Once the clock ticked over to the second quarter, however, both offenses started to get going with some big plays. Wolfpack quarterback Ryan Finley 268 yards, 1 touchdown kicked things off, lobbing a perfectly thrown pass into the waiting arms of Kelvin Harmon for a 48-yard touchdown. State tacked on a field goal on their ensuing possession following a 79-yard catch and run by superstar all-purpose threat Jalen Samuels, and then scored again just before the break. We'll see if the team can keep that second quarter momentum up despite losing starting center Garrett Bradbury with a chest injury, but their final 2 drives without him bodes well for them to do just that. Jackson and the Cardinals also found a little bit of a rhythm in the second frame, as the dual-threat signal caller racked up 190 yards through the air by halftime. He found Seth Dawkins for the team's only touchdown early in the second quarter, which was a bobbling affair down near the end zone before the wideout hauled it in for the score. There are a ton of major sporting events going on Thursday night, but the lone college football game on the slate has turned out to be a pretty good one despite the relative low score. We'll see if either side can make some big adjustments, especially defensively for the higher-ranked team, in order to pull out a key win in the ACC Atlantic race. Color rush uniforms are normally reserved for Thursday night NFL games, but it appears the trend is spreading to Saturdays too. Oklahoma is the latest to jump on board the solid color uniform look, announcing on Thursday that they would be donning a new all-red, or is it crimson, uniform for their Big 12 home opener against Iowa State. Pretty slick look unless you happen to be a big fan of the burnt orange around Big 12 country. Interestingly, the program is using the hashtag #ReadOnRed to promote the uniforms despite the school's shade of the color officially being Oklahoma crimson. Additionally, the Sooners are hoping for fans to stripe Memorial Stadium on Saturday with crimson and cream depending on what section people are sitting in. It should all make for a neat atmosphere despite Iowa State only going with the white tops for their uniform choice, instead of the all-white color rush look. Not everything filters down from the NFL to college after all. Texas A&M is honoring the 1967 edition of the Aggies that beat Alabama in the Cotton Bowl this weekend when the Crimson Tide come to Kyle Field, and it appears there will be a special visitor in store for the festivities in Gene Stallings. While it's not exactly a surprise to see Stallings head to College Station, given that he coached both sides of this budding rivalry, but it is a bit eyebrow-raising to see him attend the game given that he just suffered a heart attack last week. The College Football Hall of Famer phoned up WBRC's Rick Harley on Thursday to provide an update on his health and passed along the information that he is apparently well enough to make the trip down for the game. "I feel fine, really," Stallings said. "I've had 2 strokes and a heart attack. So far, I've beat all of them, so I can't complain." Indeed, it's been a scary couple of months for the national title-winning coach. That's included a pair of strokes that prevented him from taking part in several promotional events in Alabama. If the doctors do indeed give the all-clear by Saturday, Stallings figures to receive a warm ovation from the crowd if he can make it to the game given all he's done at both schools and for the past 3 months he's gone through.